Well, hey, JC Kids team, this is Jeff, and hey, I'm here with the last bit of the meeting that we had about a month ago now. You can see Optimus Prime over to my shoulder here. I'm actually in the spot recording this, and so we had a meeting. It was almost 4 weeks ago now, and a number of us were able to be here. Some of us weren't, and so I've been recording some of the content from that meeting so that nobody has to miss out some of the great things. We don't get to participate in the egg drop that we had. So if you weren't here, there's no way for me to virtually egg drop with you. But there were three parts of this that I recorded earlier. One was just to celebrate. We wanted to celebrate the great things happening at JC Kids, the great things happening at Journeys Crossing. If you haven't watched that video, that's the first one to watch, because that one is going to get you really pumped up about what's happening here and in your role on the team, how the things that you do on a Sunday morning, even if you're serving once a month, the things that you're doing are really producing some incredible things for God's kingdom. So I wanted to share that with you first. If you haven't watched it, take a look at it. Then I had one where we just talked about the mission, why we do what we do. What is it we're doing here at JC Kids? If you're ever wondering, what am I doing? I mean, I'm in a room and there's I'm changing a diaper, or I'm playing, I'm blowing bubbles with a kid in the pre-K, or, why is it I'm doing this? We talked a little bit about why it is we do what we do. What is our mission? What are we trying to accomplish? And then the last video that I sent out a couple weeks ago just had some nuts and bolts that help us accomplish that mission. Nothing really big or fancy, but something every single one of us can do, prioritizing being here, making sure we're prepared, arriving on time, things like that. Last video, and this is probably the one of the most, after the celebration, this is the one I was most excited to share with you, and that is, I've got to share with you where we're going. What are some things happening in the future in JC Kids? And I've got to tell you that this was the part of the meeting that really generated the most excitement when we got together last month. People were really excited to hear where we're going. So the big thing that I'm really excited to share with you is our pre-K reinvention. That's coming up here actually, and it's less than 2 months now. I've been meeting with Molly. She's providing some leadership to that pre-K team and some of the teachers in there. And we've been talking about our pre-K. We've been asking questions like, if there were words that we wanted to describe our pre-K, what would they be? Fun was the big one. We want to have a fun ministry with preschoolers, but we had a number of other words as well. And then we started to build and say, well, what would our ministry look like on a Sunday morning if these words that we came up with was what kids would say about it afterwards? And we began to think and just kind of brainstorm a number of things. Here's what we wound up with. First of all, we're going to start using some new curriculum. I'm actually meeting tonight with that team, and we're picking that curriculum. We've got 3 finalists, so we have to pick it tonight. So we have a new curriculum that will start in January. We are busting down a wall. We're going to break down most of the wall in between those 2 pre-K rooms. Chuck Baggett and Javier Nunez are itching with hammers, getting ready to go with that. We're going to hang some barn doors up so we can have one big space, or we can divide that off into 2 spaces. We're going to have some large group time. We're going to have live teaching instead of video teaching. That is really exciting. Our small groups are going to become learning centers, much like preschools or kindergarten classes have. Kids will travel around in small groups to 3 different centers and get 3 different activities going on. It is going to be just a super exciting morning, I think, for 2 to 5-year-olds. Most of the toys are actually going to exit the room before teaching. After teaching, we'll have some time. We'll have some toys, but we'll also have some stations, crayon station. I bought a couple Zingo games today. We might have a Zingo station occasionally. You might have Play-Doh sometimes. We'll rotate through a number of different options, but it is going to be such an exciting morning for kids to come. Instead of a 2s, 3s, and a 4s, 5 rooms, they'll all be together most of the time. They're going to play together. They're going to learn together. They're going to have a snack together. We'll break them up a little bit by ages to do some learning center rotations. And we said fun is the big deal. and Jesus is the big deal. We want kids to have fun, and we want them to learn about Jesus. And you can't ask for much more than that. It's going to be great for kids and families. It's going to be so exciting for our pre-K team because now there's going to be some roles. Right now, our team, they are so dedicated. They do such great things. But when they come, they've got curriculum, and they're all kind of splitting it up. Do you want to do this? Do you want me to do this? And now we're going to have roles on the team. Someone will be a large group leader each morning. There'll be 3 center leaders. They're going to know ahead of time which center is theirs, which 5-minute activity they have to prepare. And then they'll do that activity 3 times with 3 different groups of kids. There'll be 1 floater in there that's going to have some specific roles. And it is just going to be, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. We're going to get some new technology put in the room. We're going to do some things with timers and countdowns in order to keep everybody moving along at the right time. We're going to have cleanup songs. We're going to have worship. We're going to have some video worship with kids because singing is part of what we wanted to include in this as well. I keep shaking the screen. I'm sorry about that. It is going to be so stinking fun. I can't wait for January. So we're picking some curriculum tonight. I'm going to be getting the team together with Molly over the next few weeks. We're going to do some training. We'll actually get together and do kind of a dry run. So some of us will serve as teachers and the rest of us will be 4-year-olds. That's going to be great. I can't wait. We did something very similar with the kids church team last summer, a summer before this one. We said, what do we want kids church to look like? When we brainstormed some words, we said, well, what does a morning look like that would fit those words? And kids church has been going so great. Kids are so excited to be here. And so I can't wait to see what happens with pre-K. I've shared it with the staff here at Journeys Crossing. We're all really excited about it. Mark and Barb and Scott, they've all said, wow, this sounds great. I've shared it with a small number of parents. They've been really excited about it. So that is the really big, exciting thing that is going on. So I can't wait to. I love sharing it with you right now. You can probably tell how excited I am about it, but I can't wait to see that happen. 3 more things to share. One is our environment theme. Many of you know that we've been working with some consultants about developing one overall environment and theme for our Journeys Crossing kids area, our JCKids area. So what would it be like if check-in, nursery, pre-K, and kids church all had one theme, one that meets that fits the vibe of our church, this kind of industrial vibe that we have here, but one that really allows guests to know, like, man, they've got a place for my kids. One that helps our kids know, like, yes, this is a place for me. One that gets our people really excited to invite their friends and neighbors and coworkers that have kids, and then can tell them with a straight face, you've got to see this place. It looks great. So we're still walking down that. We paused it a little bit as Mark was ill over the last few months. We put a pause into that. We said, well, we don't want to go forward. We don't want to surprise Mark and say, guess what we did to the building. So I'm all for asking forgiveness instead of permission, but that was one I felt that I needed to pause on a little bit. So now that Mark's back in the swing of things, we're beginning to talk again. We've got some ideas, and over 2020, I think you're going to see us begin to implement some things, but we're not just stalled. Like I said, we're doing a whole bunch in the pre-K room. We're knocking down walls. We're putting up technology. If you've been back here in the spot, actually, since our meeting, you'll notice that there's a light bar. I'm looking at it right now. There's a light bar up. There's lights. We'll be having those operable in just a little bit. So we're still plugging away at some projects, but that's something coming in 2020. We'll have one common environment and theme for JC Kids, especially for our guests, but even for our current folks too. We're excited for that. Our team, our team keeps growing. The number of kids keep growing. We've got, I mentioned in the celebration video, we're averaging 100 kids since school started. That's still true. A month later, we're averaging about 100 kids since school starts. We've got about 70 people serving on the team. And here's the reality. It's getting too big for me to try to do everything that I have been doing, and that's hard for me. I shared with the group a month ago. It's really hard of me to let go of things. And not because I don't love you and trust you, but it's just a part of my personality that's very hard. It always has been, even way back in my business days. I had a good boss who worked with me on this, I mean, like a decade ago. So it's something I know about myself. But I simply can't do everything that needs to be done. For instance, I would love to be in prayer for every single member of this team. But when I have 70 people on the team and that number keeps getting bigger, it's really hard for me to really know how to pray for each of you, to really have that time set aside to pray for each member individually. And so I'm going to be looking for people who say, hey, I'll pray for some people on the team. Hey, I'm on the check-in team. I'll pray for the members of my team. I'm in the nursery team. I'll pray for our nursery team people. So things like that. Things like preparing small group lessons in kids' church. Scheduling the nursery, scheduling check-in. There's a number of kind of things that I'm going to be looking to hand off. And here's what I've asked the team at the meeting. Hold me accountable to this. If there's something that you see that needs to be done, you'll never offend me by saying, hey, could I do this? Or if you haven't heard me ask anyone in a while to do something, just ask me, hey, is there something that you should be asking us to do? We want to do it. So help me help this team. I don't want to be a bottleneck or a cap to our growth. And so this is something I'm going to be pretty serious about in the months coming up, is beginning to try to hand off some of the things that I'm doing to some of you who are on the team, so that we can continue to reach more and more kids, and we can continue to add more and more members to our team without me trying to have very closed fists on everything that's going on. I want to have more of my hands disappear from the screen, and more of an open-handed posture than a posture like this. So I'm really excited about where we're going. I'm really excited about serving with so many of you and all of the kids that have been coming. So I'm excited to see what happens with our team over the coming months as I ask some of you to pray or do some things to help our team and help serve kids. Final thing I want to announce is we as a staff have talked about maybe some different ways to handle being able to meet together with all of our volunteers. We've tried kind of hit or miss to do some of these kind of conference kind of things, and kind of the 2-day thing like we just did. That, and the name of it is gone from my brain for some reason. So, but some of these deals where we say, hey, come in on a Friday night and all day Saturday, and we're going to have like a day, 24-hour long worship and seminar and eating and stuff like that. We recognize that is really tough for all of you to be able to devote that time. It's actually really tough for our team to try to devote all that time and create that as well. So, we're going to begin a habit of meeting together really quarterly on Saturday mornings with everyone who is serving on a team. And a part of that get together will be Mark just being able to share some vision and talk to the whole group. And then we'll also split up into our individual teams and have some time together. It'll be a great way to kind of take care of those two birds all together for all of our volunteer teams to be able to get together and meet with Mark, and also for all of our team to be able to meet together too, because that's a difficult thing to schedule. I mean, we had a little less than half the team here on Saturday, and it was a lot of people, and yet I know we're so busy and we have a lot of things going on. So we as a staff, we want to try not to continue to schedule more and more and more things into your calendars. We want to schedule as few things as possible and make them as meaningful as possible. So I have the first date. I really want you to put this in your calendar. I'll be actually probably sending out an invitation for this soon. The first date is going to be January 11th. That's a Saturday. We don't have a time yet. Approximately 8:30 to noonish. But the time may change, but it'll be morning. Saturday morning, January 11th. And part of that time will be Mark just sharing with everyone. And then part of that time will be just the JC Kids folks gathering probably back here in the spot because we've got a pretty big team, and being able to meet and tackle some things together. So so get that one in your calendar, and then we'll get all of the dates to you pretty soon to be able to get into your calendars as well. It's always great to be able to meet together. It's always so encouraging to be able to meet together as a JC Kids team, but also meet with everyone who's serving here at Journeys Crossing. And you start to see when we all get together, actually, the room fills up really fast. And I think the neat thing about that is to remember that we are not alone. We are a part of a big church doing that has a big mission and doing big things for God's kingdom. So so those are the things I wanted to share with you going on in the future. I'm really excited about where this team is going, where this church is going, how we can just continue to meet kids right where they are and help them on their journey back with God. So I'm going to link all of the videos, the celebration video, the mission video, the nuts and bolts video. I encourage you to watch them all if you haven't watched them yet. And I hope you're really excited to be a part of this team and excited about where we're going. I say it frequently in emails, but I've got to tell you, I love this church. I love being here. I've been here a little more than 2 years now. I love this church, and I love this team. I love serving with each of you. So thank you for investing in kids and families. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Bye-bye, guys.